Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to another week of Marketing 101 for chiropractors. This week, we're going through Google Ads. This has been a hot topic all month. Lots of questions coming in for that. If I would do an entire podcast, please join us every Monday on Adjusting Success. It's a YouTube live that I'll be hosting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern starting Labor Day. And what we'll be going through is live questions that you have about all marketing, practice building, or anything in your practice that you need help with. Hopefully, I can answer it. I'm not going to sit here and say I can. But for today, let's go through Google Ads. This is a big one. I'm going to try and keep it short. It's not as easy as you guys think. Throwing money at stuff is always a bad idea. I hope any of you that have been practicing more than 5 years have found that out the hard way. Just throwing money at stuff doesn't solve any issues. I think that's a rule in life too. Just don't throw money at it. You got to know who to hire or who to ask for help to do this stuff, but you can also know what to do. It's not as difficult as, a digital marketer that does Google Ads for a whole bunch of different industries. That's a tough gig because now you got to learn the different industries and how it goes. So I'm zoning in straight into chiropractic and health practitioners today. So that's easy. If you're listening, you're part of that group. This is going to be super easy. Who needs to do Google Ads? First off, you need to ask yourself, is that a good thing? I need new patients. I need more new patients. I think that's what everyone says. I need more new patients. Well, if you're in that scenario, then there's a bigger problem, but let's get into that some other time. But I need new patients. Okay. Everyone needs more new patients. What's the best way to get along this? And it's not going to be one answer. Google's not going to be the saving grace, but it can be a very useful tool. So who needs to do Google Ads? If you have bad SEO, you don't organically come up in searches for chiropractors in your area, you need to do Google Ads. And unfortunately, the bad news is it's going to be very expensive just because of that. Because if you're not reaching in, let's say you're in 90210 California, zip code, chiropractor 90210, you search that. You don't show up on the first page. You go to the maps, you don't show up. On your mobile device, you're not those ones that show up on the map, remember? Like those first few, you're a dot on the map because you're in that zip code. But when you look to the left and you see all the clinics that are listed, you're not there. The best thing to do is when you're at someone else's place or some other, maybe you're on vacation in a different town, search like that. Search your zip code and chiropractor. When you're away, you get a more realistic view of what people are seeing rather than you in your clinic at your location searching chiropractor near me. Of course, you're going to show up a little bit higher in that rank because you're right there. You're like the epicenter of that search. So long story short, bad SEO, you're not showing up. You need to do ads so that you can be bumped right into that sponsored category up on 1 or 2 on the search for that. You have to. Chiropractor near me, chiropractor zip code, best chiropractor, whatever it is. Those keywords are really important to rank for on Google. That's what you're paying for with that. You're going to notice it's going to be a little bit more expensive because Google's not going to favor you because of your bad SEO. So, okay, Enrico, how do I improve my SEO? Well, that's a completely different podcast. Go back and search for the SEO one. That's a completely different story. SEO is what you should always be focusing on. Search engine optimization. How do you do this? You can't buy it. You can't hire anyone to do this for you. These people keep telling me about websites will write your blogs. That's a horrible idea. I don't want you to write my blog. Well, I'm not going to write a blog. We have a professional ad writer or a professional copywriter or a professional writer. We have Steven Spielberg on staff. I don't give a crap about that. You are not me. You don't live in my town. You don't know my people. How are you going to write my blog? You're in freaking Scottsdale, Arizona. Like, how are you going to help me? So don't get bought into that bull crap. And then look at the prices. For $400 a month, we can do your SEO. Yeah, go shove your $400 up here. It's a lie, people. You have to build your SEO, constantly posting, constantly on social media, constantly putting blogs. Do you have a blog section on your website? If not, fire your webmaster. You need to have it. When was the last blog written? Should be releasing them all the time. And dumping 10 blogs all on one day, it's good, gets you some more content, but you want to slowly be releasing these, maybe monthly, updating. That's a great idea. So blogging. Okay. We're going into SEO. Google. If you got bad SEO, you don't search, you don't rank, or maybe you're on the 2nd page, 5th page, you're not on the maps, you got to spend the money. You got to do this. You got to get into this. Okay, Dr. D, what do I do? What if I have good SEO? What if when you search me on number 1 or number 2, like my clinic, it shows up number 1, number 2 on the map, it shows up number 2, number 3 on the Web search, pretty good. 4 sometimes. I'm like, oh, who's getting up ahead of me? And then there's ways to kind of move your way up there. It just means you got to do more. Google reviews, blogs. Now the blogs. What are we doing with the blogs? We're actually writing in the blog. Now this is what this is what the copywriters are going to do for you, but they're going to focus on the wrong terms. So they're going to focus on pain, chiropractor, Pittsburgh, or wherever your county. They're going to put that, and that's right. That's what the bots want to read, is they want to see that Pittsburgh chiropractor, pain. That's the SEO. That's what works, but that's not the best way to do it. It has to be relevant to what people are searching. So what your demographic comes in with, and that's what you want to be writing blogs on. So if you take care of a lot of piriformis syndrome, if you take care of a lot of pinched nerves, if you take care of a lot of hot low backs, if you take care of sciatica, if you take care of numbness, tingling, if you take care of this stuff, you got to be writing blogs about each and every one of them, and maybe just kind of tell one of your patient's stories without using their name. That's a great blog. That's it. And then you just got to repeat in there. Chiropractic care helps with. Sciatica improves with chiropractic adjustments. Just the chiropractor. Find the best chiropractor near you. And that is ABC Chiropractic in Pittsburgh. That's a good blog. And it's written in a, 3rd to 5th grade level, simple to read. It's in there. Are people reading your blogs? Probably not, but the bots are. That's it. The next biggest thing, maybe the biggest thing, is backlinks. Having other websites have your address, your URL and your address and your phone number and the correct listing on their website. So local businesses around you are the gold star, and then paying on moz.com or yex.com or paying for a subscription for a short term where you get listed on the directories on as many as possible correctly. So they'll have a main page that you go on, a home page. So you pay a subscription, $14 a month, $20 a month, $50 a month, whatever. And you pay for a subscription, and it asks you the basic information. What is your business legal name? What is your business address? What is your business zip code? What is your business website, phone number, fax? And that's it. And that's the master populator. That software will make sure that exactly the way you type it, make sure there's no spelling mistakes in your URL, nothing. That will then, over the next 14, 30, 40 days, will be listed on as many directories as possible. You can always log back into moz.com or yucks.com, and then you can see which ones are there. There'll be warning signs for the ones that they couldn't for some reason. Make sure we move. That's a pain in the butt. Now I got to go back on healthgrades.com, RateMD, all this stuff, and make sure that my addresses are correct, because the directory ones won't fix that. So make sure you are listed properly. Then that's a great way to get backlinks on all these directories. So you're showing up on the web on 20 directories, 30 directories, 100 directories, depending on what you pay for. The more, the better. Do you need to keep this subscription forever? The answer is no. I like to use these things short term, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And then I just go back and check, and they're like, hey, we got you on 88 more directories. I check the next month. Hey, we got you on 88 directories. I'm like, well, they really didn't do much more for me there. I'll cancel. Canceling it doesn't get you booted off these directories. Once you're on, you're on. The problem is, make sure nothing changes. No phone numbers, no addresses. That becomes a pain. And if it's incorrect, it hurts your SEO. It hurts your SEO to have different addresses all over the place. So whatever pops up on Google search, that's probably the exact address, the way to do it. I'm on this weird road that's State Road 54, and it shows up on Google as not SR 54 or State Road. It shows up as FL 54, and I had this wrong on all SR everywhere. I'm like, oh dang! And I fixed that, and we actually went. Remember, I told you I was 4th, and we're back to 2nd. So this stuff happens all the time. So I can't stress this enough. Make sure that's right. So Google Ads. Have we even talked about them yet? Google Ads. What do? You go to semrush.com, you go to any of these websites that does website tracking, and you go to I like SEMrush. It's easy to use. And in the top search bar, you put in www.yourclinic.com. You put it in there exactly, and then boom, it gives you this score. It says your ranking is a C minus. You're showing up 38% out of 100. You are here, and then as you scroll down, it shows you your top keywords. These are the top keywords from search engines, all search engines, mainly Google, because that's the number one used, all search engines searching and then ending up with you as a top ranking, or they ended up clicking on you. It'll show you the clicks. You'll say you had 68 clicks last month for chiropractor near me. Chiropractor. Like, who's typing in it twice? I guess they're typing in it twice, and you had 21 clicks for that. Chiropractors near us. Best chiropractor. Pediatric chiropractor for kids. And then you go down here and be like, oh my, what the heck? I didn't even know these were the keywords. Now you take those 10 keywords, the top 10, you write them down or you copy them, and you go to your Google Ads account. You go in there and you create a new campaign, and you go to the campaign. It says, which keywords would you like to target? You put those in. You start there. Okay, now, before we get into this, why and what? Why am I doing this and what am I doing? Okay, how to do this? You need help. You need me. I'm going to promote it. I don't typically do this. You need me. I coach. I do this stuff a month to month. You can fire me anytime. But we can get through this stuff together. The how is the tough part. But anyways, the why and the what is what you're going to do is you're going to set up your Google Ads account and you're going to set up a campaign. Why you're going to do is to rank higher. So what you're doing is you're putting these 10 keywords in, and then you're targeting. What you need to do is the keywords, and then you need to track these trends. So before you hit the start button on this, go over the last 6 months and look at your statistics. On your Google Ads, it will show you your website's traffic statistics right there in your Google Ads. It's under analysis or analyze. You go in there and you look at the last 6 months. I would write these down. So you have the impressions, you write it down. So you write down impressions, and then the last 6 months, January, February, March, April, May, June. You write it all down, all the numbers, and then you go to clicks. You write those down, and calls. Calls are really important. You write that down. You're like, okay, 10, 9, 11, 12, 1. And then you just write them all down. Then you average this. Divide them all by 6, all those numbers by 6. You get an average. Okay. And then you save that. Now this is your foundation of organic search that you get because you haven't paid a dime in Google Ads. That is your organic. Now you take the keywords. You run a campaign for 30 days. Now, people always ask me about budget. It really doesn't matter. $500, $1,000, 2,000, 4,000. The rules with this is if you need new people call me, I need new patients, then you're throwing $5,000 at Google Ads. It's the only way. It's going to get you tons of traffic compared to what you were doing before. And what that means for your practice is a completely different story. $5,000 is a lot of money. What if you get 2 care plans signed off of that? That's a lot of money for 2 care plans. But if your care plan, is $2,500, you're breaking even. Is this worth doing? Most chiropractors fall off and they don't because they're not doing it right. But if you get 4 new patients or you get 6 new patients from Google, is it now worth the $5,000? What if it works? So that's it. But start with 5. If you're scared, start with 500. You don't like burning money like me? I get it. Start with $500. See what happens. And then you can still use those metrics. You got to run it for 60 days though. Keep an eye on it. You can tweak things. You can change things. If you see keywords that are not getting hit, change them. And then over 30 days, you look at it and your numbers, you did that average, you said calls to the clinic per month from Google Maps when people click it. And most of them from an organic search are your current patients looking you up on Google and hitting the call button to call your office because they don't remember your phone number. That's okay. That's fine. But once you put the ad spend in, what happens to that number? Did it go up to 13? Did it go up to 19? What happened? There, and you write that down. Spend $500 in September. We went from 11 calls per month to 15. Then you spend another $500 the next month, or you might want to test more, whatever. And then you check for October. And you're like, we're up to 17 calls per. Something is happening. Right there, you can see it. 1 month is not enough data, but data is data. You can't ignore it. If you've got 6 months averages and then all of a sudden in 1 month you had 5 extra calls, well, you're like, okay, for $100, I'm getting another call to the office. What does that mean? Then when you click on calls in your Google Ads, it'll tell you the phone numbers that called you. The reason agencies do all these metric things and have a separate calling number and they change it on your website and they do all this stuff is for metrics to prove to you that they are doing their job and they're getting you leads so that they retain you as a customer. You don't need to prove it to yourself. You didn't need to buy all the widgets and the extra stuff and the phone tracking and all this stuff. Google has it on your ads. You can see it. So you click on the phone, on the calls, and it will show you those 15 calls, the phone number, area code, and phone number, no name or anything. Then you can just print that and show your CA and be like, hey, can you go into the EHR and search by phone number? Do any of these numbers pop up? like, oh, you know what? 4 of those numbers popped up. Those 4 that came are all new patients in the last month. Oh, and you're like, ooh, oh, wow, look, something happened. And you're all like, yeah, I'm the bomb. And you figure this stuff out. And then that's how you do it. It's a longer way of doing it. It'd be easier if you had call metrics, because then the metricing app would would give you the exact times of the call. It would record the call. You could go listen to it, be like, oh, that was Mary. She was the new patient 2 weeks ago. It does make things easier. Do you need to do it? No. If you want to do it, go for it. Learn how to do it. I'm giving you the easiest way, the fastest way from A to B. So that's Google Ads. Targeting, really important with the targeting when you get into set that up. It's got to be around your clinic. And distances. Some of you live in rural areas. People will drive 18 miles. That's like they do it all the time. They drive 18 miles to get to Costco. They drive 18 miles to come into town. You're like the major town between towns. Some of you live like that. I live in a metropolis. It's 6, 7, 8 miles. I'll go 10, but even those 10-mile people are like, oh, you're kind of far. It's okay. So you got to find that radius and you got to stick within that. Okay. So targeting is really important too. And then the cost per click estimates kind of tell you what this is going to cost. So if you have a $3.50 cost per click and you spend $700, expect about 200 clicks. It's important in the long run, the cost per click, because then it tells you the predictability of how many clicks does it take to generate a lead or a call, which is important. You need to know that stuff as well. I don't know if this was helpful. I'm finishing this podcast. I'm like, did I help people with this? I hope I did. Try it. Get in there. Get your feet wet. The biggest mistake most of you are doing is you're not even touching it. You're not even doing it. You're not even doing it. And you're going wrong with the keywords. So if you're going to end up this podcast and be like, okay, what do I take away from this? SEMrush.com, put in your URL, see your website performance. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to be disappointed at how poorly your website performs. But by knowing that, you can then start to create a plan on how to improve that. So go ahead, do that, get those keywords, write them down, and go play on your Google Ads. Go figure it out. And if you need help, I'm here, just like how I end every podcast. Have a great week to your success. See you on Adjusting Success every Monday at 9:30 p.m. live on YouTube. Just subscribe or come into the group. You'll see it posted live on Facebook, or go straight to youtube.com. Enrico D Marketing. That's our channel. Click on it and you'll see us live there. And after it's done live, you can go watch it at any time. But if you join us live, you get to ask questions and I'll actually do the live based on your questions. Be fun. Take care. To your success. Stay well.